Sue and Bledden Wynne-Jones are passionate travellers and have collected exotic plants from far and wide. You can go around the world in their garden without even leaving Wales. For 30 years, Will Ackerman has enjoyed caring for his large garden by himself. But now the time has come to pass the reins over to the next generation. The picturesque Wye Valley was where Anne Wareham and her husband chose to create their dream home and garden. In the western corner of the UK, it's the diversity of the Welsh landscape that makes its natural beauty so breathtaking. Wild mountain ranges flank over 1,000 kilometres of popular beach-lined coast. Much of the area is a nature reserve. Its long and colourful history can still be seen all over the country, as it has the most castles in Europe per square kilometre. The Wye Valley, one of the most popular tourist destinations in Wales, lies in the southwest of the country on the border with England. On the slopes of the Tintern Valley, not far from the River Wye itself, former London social worker Anne Wareham bought a patch of land. For the past 25 years, she's been transforming it into her dream garden, the Vedu. The hectic life in London was not making Anne happy, and she wanted to create a space where she could really feel at home. A dream that was impossible in the busy capital. It's in her garden where Anne feels most at peace.
The garden becomes a home when you actually personalise it, and in the same way that when you move into a house that's just new to you, you redecorate, you put your own furnishings and things in until it begins to feel like it's yours, and you feel at home in it then. When you've created a garden, you know, it's got your blood in it in a way.
There are two sides to Anne's garden. The romantic, with its colourful flowers and slightly wild nature, and the more modern. Yet, despite the love and care put into the garden, Anne doesn't really relish the task of gardening.
What about gardening? Not much. I don't really enjoy gardening that much. Because all the work here is quite heavy work, you know. It was just the way that I needed to express myself. That I wanted the result. I wanted what we've got, I wanted this. And the only way to get this was to do it myself.
The garden is a work of art and expression of Anne's strengths as well as her softer side. Although her husband Charles was allowed to help her with the hard labour, no one influenced the creation of the garden but Anne. It's entirely her own work, and according to Anne, that's exactly the way it should be. Charles works night shifts for a helpline and for the emergency services. He was never particularly interested in gardens and felt happy with their life in London. But moving to Wales was a sacrifice he was more than happy to make for his wife.
Anne had outgrown the garden that we were living in. It was very small, and she'd really outgrown being in London. She didn't want to be in London anymore. I hadn't really. I was still had my friends in London, and I was still quite attached to the place in several ways. So it took some persuading, well, not persuading, just sort of weighing up, really. It was quite a threshold. It was kind of like, well, what do I want? Well, I wanted Anne, you know. That was who I wanted most. So that was enough to tip me into saying, well, this is what Anne needs, so this is what makes sense to do, really.
In the north of the country, on the edge of the large nature reserve Snowdonia, lies the property of the Welsh couple Sue and Bleddyn Wyn-Jones. Some of the most exotic species in the world thrive in their garden, from Chilean pine trees and Korean fruit trees to plants from the heights of the Himalayas. Sue and Bleddyn are in the process of creating a new garden in a recently burnt-out barn. They fund their travels and the expensive permits needed to import the seeds by selling the seeds they grow from them. On their last trip to Vietnam, they brought back seeds from plants that are on the brink of extinction and are hoping to bring them to flower in their garden.
Oh, Sue.
Hello.
Seen this? Got germination here. Oh, look at that.
Gosh, that looks strong. What's that?
Yeah, look at that.
Lovely.
Roy patella. That's related to walnut. It's a small tree.
Yeah. Well, they're very popular.
I'll live long enough.
Oh.
Yeah, look at the roots coming out of that already.
Excellent.
Unpronounceable name.
It's always very exciting when, you know, the seeds that we've worked so hard to collect germinate. You know, there are days when you're out there collecting in terrible conditions, cold, wet, and then you're trying to dry them and everything. So sometimes you just want to give up. But then the rewards when you have germination like we've had today of things that we've never grown before is very exciting. It makes it all worthwhile.
The couple have worked hard to ensure that the exotic plants grow together harmoniously in their Welsh garden. They've had much success in germinating plants whose original habitat is now endangered due to climate change and slash-and-burn farming. Many of the species they've brought home have never been cultivated in Europe before.
This is a very interesting flower that we collected in the northern part of India, not far from Darjeeling, actually. It's a member of the ginger family, and we find it perfectly hardy. And this is another plant, Dendropanax, the same family as ivy or ginseng. It's still a bit young yet, it's not flowering properly. In some ways, we're very proud that not even botanic gardens grow it, and they ask us for them.
On their travels, Sue made sure she learnt as much from the local cultures as possible. She's now an expert in knowing which plants are edible and the best way to prepare them. Stalks and blossoms in the garden are as much part of her everyday diet as meat and potatoes.
I don't think people realise, looking around their gardens, that the food is there for free. You know, there's so much in the garden that you can eat, but always check first, because there are a lot of very poisonous things too.
In Asia, Sue learnt how to prepare lily buds and hosta leaves.
So many people have hostas in their gardens, and I'm sure they don't realise that you can eat them. You can eat the leaf, and then you can even stir-fry the stalk. It's delicious. So we're going to prepare some for lunch today. And it's a good idea to get the leaves before the slugs and snails do.
It was in Japan that Sue was taught the best way to prepare hosta leaves and stalks. Lightly fried, the stalks add a pleasantly bitter note to salads.
Well, let's make the most of it then, OK.
Great. Do you want a hand with it?
Yeah, do you want to carry that out?
Oh, thanks.
Thank you.
Here we go.
Their garden is called Kug Farm. The name is the only reminder that 20 years ago it was not a garden, but a farmyard.
This delicious.
It took the couple a while to gather the courage to embark on such an ambitious garden project.
Look at that.
In fact,
You tried those
a garden
mackerel?
wasn't part of Sue's plan for the future at all.
Have you? I didn't see you.
She used to work around the world as a fashion buyer and had only come back to Wales to take some time out.
I came home, well, really for 6 months, and then Brendan and I got together, and 4 days after we got together I moved in, and I'm still here 37 years on.
When I walk through the gardens, there are a lot of memories there of where we collected the plants. Mostly happy memories. I feel much happier in horticulture. I feel like I'm working with nature, complementing it, as opposed to agriculture as more monoculture, and you're working against it.
To the south of Kug Farm, near the coast of Cardigan Bay, lies the Cae Garden. It's tended to by Will Ackerman and his son Stuart. Will Ackerman, a French teacher from the Netherlands, left his home country 30 years ago to fulfill his dream, to create and cultivate a large garden in the Welsh countryside. His wife Gillian's job as a physiotherapist supported the family, and with no funds but plenty of energy, he set about creating his dream garden. Now he's reached 70, it's time to hand over the garden shears to his son, who's quit his job to take charge.
Watch out for that geranium, please.
Although Will still finds it hard to let go.
Yeah. I've always done everything just by myself, on my own. And I never used to ask anybody's opinion. I just did what I wanted to do and just did what I thought would be right, you know. Now, there's suddenly somebody there with his own ideas, and they don't always correspond, you know, sometimes they are different. So then, yeah, it's a bit of a compromise, and at times it can be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, I think it's nice with,
Yeah.
with the yellow.
Yes, and you know, this will carry on flowering for a bit. See, quite a lot of buds still
Yeah.
to open. So, yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
It's a bit of a learning curve for both of us, really, but I think in some ways it's probably more difficult for him. You know, they say that sometimes it's easier to build up a business than to let go. But, you know, like I was saying, there's a responsibility on my part to be sympathetic towards that. And I suppose my time will come where I can make all the decisions.
So far, Will has been able to resist any gardening trends or recommendations to modernize the garden, but that is slowly changing. Julie, his daughter, has now opened a garden cafe for visitors. She quit her job in Manchester with the hope that it would help fund the garden and ensure it stayed in family hands.
I felt just that it would be impossible, I think. I couldn't comprehend how that would ever work, that this would not be ours anymore. You know, I've seen it from nothing, from fields to what it is today, and just the thought that it would belong to somebody else who had nothing to do with it, who hadn't made it, who had no kind of emotional attachment to it. It was horrendous, the thought. I couldn't live with that.
In the next few years, Julie and Stuart will have to make sure the garden and cafe is profitable enough to support themselves and their parents. Not an easy task. A small victory for Stuart. He's convinced his father to cut down a tree that was badly damaged last winter. Will planted most of the trees as saplings, so cutting one down is a tough decision for him.
it's always a little bit sad, you know, but on the other hand, it was not a nice tree anymore, was it? For the whole garden, I think it's better for it to go. As gardeners, you've got to be, you must not be sentimental. You've got to be hard at times. Out.
Same again, yeah?
Yeah. Just keep it tight.
Not far from Caerhir is the studio of local quilt maker Karen Coxsedge. Karen is finishing off 2 quilts, which she has promised to Julie. Quilt making and patchwork have a long tradition in Wales. Karen is using the traditional sewing methods whilst also experimenting with modern fabrics.
The secret of a Kug quilt is the whole process of enjoying making it, because then it all flows together, and the quilt sounds really stupid, but it's happy because all the fabrics go together, the design all comes together, and then you have the whole pleasing appearance, and so that's what makes a good quilt.
Another of Julie's new ideas is to host an open-air exhibition of the quilts in the garden. This will hopefully earn a little extra money and attract some new visitors as well. It's not only Karen, but also other local quilt makers that are taking advantage of the good idea and exhibiting their work.
Oh, look at that perfect size.
And it's nice to have
I'm working on this morning.
Eh?
So it's a more woman thing.
Yeah.
You did a very good job of putting them up.
Even Julie's mum Gillian has taken a break from work to come and see how they look.
These are both Karens?
yeah.
Karen, you was very clever. God.
Over time, Stuart and Julie will no doubt be making more and more changes in Caerhir. But the golden rule of their parents will remain a constant. A good gardener does only that which Mother Nature intended. Back in the north of Wales, in Charles and Anne's garden in the Wye Valley. Besides his day job, Charles is also a successful garden photographer, publishing his work in magazines, books, and newspapers. As Anne and Charles have no children to continue their legacy in the garden, they felt a memorial stone would be a nice way for the garden to remember them.
Hi, love.
Hiya.
How you doing?
Good.
Can you spare a minute to come and have a look at our proposed monument?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. OK, now, I think the first thing that we'd have to decide is whether we would do 2, one for you and one for me, that would be in that space, or a joint one in this space, perhaps.
Right.
And then that's what it looks like.
I'm more in favour of one for the 2 of us, because I kind of
Yeah.
think that's nicer, that it's all on one stone.
We might do it. The lettering could be on a plaque, you know, that's faced onto this.
Well, if the lettering is...
Anne made it her duty to study the history of the garden and its previous owners. Each stone is in memory of one of them.
So it's been a great part for me of the garden that we should acknowledge and pay homage to these people whose lives here have been very hard. So I make references to these people in the garden in the hope that people will also reflect on their lives. Occasionally in this country you go to posh places and think about, you know, Lord and Lady so-and-so who've lived in this house for generations. Well, it's the same kind of thing. It's about remembering the history of the people, more humble people.
This summer is the 25th anniversary of the Vedu, a cause for celebration for the couple. Without letting them know why, they invited a few friends over for drinks in the garden.
Hi!
The weather's held. God, it would have been so stupid if it had been raining.
Very good, thanks. Very good.
I think this is total for 8 minutes.
Charles's friend John distills his own slow gin. The perfect toast to announce the reason for the celebration.
Yeah, it does. It'll get more powerful.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers. Now, actually, what happened was that we celebrated 25 years of moving here last year because I got the date wrong. And so we invited them all over and all our friends, and we had fireworks. And, but actually,
It took me
was
3 weeks
24
afterwards.
years, and I realised just afterwards. And then Anne said that we should never celebrate anything again.
No, I
in the
didn't. I said
garden.
we should celebrate 25 years every year.
Oh yeah, every year. That's right.
Back in the north of Wales, in the craggy and harsh hillsides of Snowdonia, back to Kug Farm.
Feeling hyped and coming down.
Sue and Bledin are busy preparing for the famous London Chelsea Flower Show, the most prestigious gardening show in the country. They entered for the first time in 2011 and even won a gold medal.
But another wonderful honour we had was to meet the Queen. She was truly, very interested. But I was able to say to her, "But Your Majesty, you already have many of our collections at your home here in London at Buckingham Palace." She didn't know, but she said, "I'll have to go and have a look at them."
As many of Sue and Bledin's plants have never been grown in Europe, they only have their original Latin names for identification. As most people prefer to have common names for plants, it falls upon the couple to come up with one for each of their species. They're at their most creative when sharing a bottle of wine in good company.
I think it's worthy of naming, don't you?
It is. Maybe even a bottle of wine or two. So go through.
That's beauty.
See if you can think up a good, catchy name.
It is. OK, let's go. Oh, I've got hydrangea further up the field. I'd like to have a look at them. It's,
I don't know what it is. It's the contrast of different colours,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah.
That's what it is.
one enough?
Yep.
Yep.
In a vase? Yeah. OK, let's go and find some blue nun and...
Don't forget your address, right?
What's come to my mind in the last few years, the whole world is going through this terrible recession and people are stressed about money and everything. But when you go into the garden and you start working with the earth and with the plants, you forget all of that. It's such good therapy. You're always looking forward. It's just a very healthy way of life. So
What do you think? This is the qualities of this plant.
well, it looks like a flame or a beacon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Torch-like?
It's maroon.
What we like about it is it's big.
It's big, and it comes from
Zongdian,
Zongdian.
which
What does that
is the new name for a place that they reckon was Shangri-La.
Well,
Oh.
what do you reckon? Have you not named it by accident?
Can we spell it?
Can we spell? I'm not sure it can spell anything anymore.
It's two words, isn't it?
Shangri-La.
Yes. And Shangri-La, I think that's a very fine name for it. Well, I like Shangri-La.
I do.
Great. Do you think we've done a good evening's work?
I think we've done very, very well.
Very hard work, this.
We haven't got through enough wine yet.
I have to give yourself lots of rewards.
It's hard work, but someone's got to do it.
Well,
Well, to the next one.
the next one.
Yeah.
Hey.
Thanks a lot.